Hello. I'm very tired today. I'm still on American time. Everyone's like, what's that? It's 6 hours ago. How's everyone doing? Is everyone enjoying the con?
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Are you enjoying the con?
Yes.
How much are you enjoying the con?
As big as the arena.
What?
As big as the arena.
Awesome. Who else is tired today? Anyone tired? Oh, we're all. Sunday is always the worst, isn't it? You're like, yeah, we're on the con. Me every day. Every day? Yeah. It's me every day too. It's just the life, isn't it? So, well, so thanks for having me here. This is really cool. I've spent a lot of time in England in the past, but this is my first time to spend any amount of time in Yorkshire and in Sheffield. So it's really lovely. I really enjoy it. Thank you for having me, first off. Secondly, this is a Q&A, so we can just talk to each other, get to know each other, ask me questions. Don't be shy. In fact, if we want to just open it up to questions, I'll let you pick. Oh yeah, you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So do you remember my challenge?
Wait, hold on. Wait for God to stop talking.
The gaming area is compete. Thank you very much.
So rude. Sorry.
So do you remember my challenge that I'm going to ask you a question?
I remember you saying that you were going to ask me a question that I have never been asked before in my career, and I'm skeptical. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I'm interested to see what you will come up with.
So it's more anime based. So
what?
It's both a director side and a voice actor side. You know when you do like a back story?
Yeah.
Like, so you've already done a scene, and then the story goes on, and then they go back to it.
Yeah.
So like a backflash.
Right.
Do you do the exact same, do they just use the audio you used before, or do you have to redo it?
It depends on the animation. Sometimes it's called like a flashback scene. If it's animated a little differently, we tend to have to re-record it because the flaps, what we call flaps, or what we call like the mouth movements, which as voice actors we have to match in a dub. If those are animated any differently, then we have to go back because then the old stuff doesn't fit anymore and it would look awkward. So, but if you do have to re-record it, you do try to re-record it in as much the same vein so it won't stand out. So it won't wait, that's not what they did before. But sometimes you have to rewrite the lines because they no longer fit. You're like, well, that's interesting. The character's going to remember it differently. Awesome. It's rare. Most of the time, flashbacks are the exact same animation, so we don't have to go back and record it. We just use what we did whenever it was recorded the first time. Yeah.
Have you been asked that before?
Yes. It was a noble. To be fair, I've only been asked that once, and it was like 4 years ago. So
I win.
No. You have a very generous definition of the word win, my dear. But it was a noble effort. You certainly get a gold star for effort. Who's got another question?
Do you plan on working with the YouTuber CWA in the future?
Yes!
I mean, he's a really cool guy, and he's not hard on the eyes, so if he wanted to work with me, I would be open to it. So we might have done something this morning that you might have to check his YouTube channel out later to see. What? Scandal, shock, Paul. What? Oh my god. Yeah, we drank together last night. He's really very charming, and it is true. He is very bootylicious. He told me this, people like my butt. I'm like, well, let's see it. Oh, that's nice. Fully clothed. I shouldn't say that. I'm like, take your pants off. Like, I don't. That was later, but at first. I'm kidding. He deserves it. Yeah, I love him. I think it's really funny. So, I should say, in this business, if you're a voice actor, you meet people all the time who think they can do your voice, and they suck. They'll be like, I can do such a great version of you. You're like, let's hear it. They're like, you want to hear my Sebastian? I'm like, yeah, let's hear it. They go, yes, my lord. You're like, wow, I'm not threatened at all. But then I heard this guy, somebody pointed out to him, like, this guy really does your voice. I'm like, sure he does, whatever. And I listened to it, it's like, yes, my lord. And I'm like, I must kill him. He straight up asked me, he's like, so I was thinking about coming to Texas and Funimation. I'm like, no. Don't come anywhere near Funimation. I'm Funimation's Brit. I'm not ready to pass the torch yet. Go to LA. No, he's fabulous. I would love to work with him. He's super funny, and that voice. Oh. I get it. I want to squeal every time he says the line. Oh, there's like a peanut gallery up there. I'm like, if anyone starts hitting us with water balloons, we know who's responsible. Who's got another question? Oh, Kurisu. I mean Christina. I mean assistant.
Not Christina.
You're like, not Christina. Take the floor.
If you was to gain the rights for the Steins Gate Zero anime, would you reprise the role?
Oh, absolutely, in a heartbeat. Like, if it was Steins Gate related in any way, shape, or form, and they wanted me to do anything with it, I'd be like, yes, absolutely. Has anyone here, who here has seen Steins Gate? Oh, awesome, that's so cool. Like, every time I do a panel, more and more people have seen Steins Gate. If you have not seen Steins Gate yet, please treat yourself. I say this I don't say this very often, but I don't like to pick favorites shows I've worked on, because I've worked on a bunch of stuff, and they've all been really, really cool, and I've gotten to breathe life into some really awesome characters. So, like, picking a favorite is really difficult. It's like picking a favorite child. So if anyone has a favorites question, incidentally, what it does to my head, see, all the characters I've ever played, or written for, or both, are still in here somewhere. They're like, it's like a room full of people with their own voices and their own point of view. And they're in here all the time, and they're frequently arguing with each other whenever I do the most mundane things, like shave, or decide to get a cup of coffee, and they're always going blah, 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 and it's all I can do to quiet them. And so if I were to pick a favorite and go, oh, my favorite is this, then I would go back to my hotel room tonight and have 200 other characters in my head going, you're a bastard. I thought we had something special. So I'm very, very loath to play the favorites game, but without a doubt, the best show I've ever worked on in terms of just quality and how just beautifully conceived it is, how wonderfully it's animated, the journey it takes the viewer on. Steins Gate is hands down the most emotional roller coaster, and it's such a sophisticated and beautiful show. Also, in my opinion, one of the best representation of time travel in a quasi-realistic setting that I've ever seen. Also, because I got to write it, I got to throw in a lot of Doctor Who references, which some of the American people were like, when's that? I'm like, shut up, watch Doctor Who, be better people. So when I would hear people like, well, so I had to figure out, so I actually started watching Doctor Who because of Steins Gate, I'm like, yes! Drop the mic.
The closest you could get to being the Doctor.
Would I get to be the Doctor?
The closest to being the Doctor.
Right, that's the close. Thanks. Wow. That hurts coming from a Brit. It's so authoritarian. Like, if an American says it, like, you're American, what do you know? But if a Brit says it, it's like, oh, you're never going to be the Doctor. I'm like, no, you're probably right. That's okay.
You can do it.
That's okay. I know. Right, there's Sebastian's voice. Can I just again say how deeply gratifying it is to come to the UK? It's so, none of you will ever understand what it's like to go to the country the origin of an accent that you're known for, and you're like, I hope they like it, because, it's actually their accent. Or at least it comes from that country. And Dad would be like, oh, I love your Sebastian. I'm like, oh, thank God. I was so ready for all of you to be like, well, we love Sebastian, but we have some notes.
That's one list of things that are wrong.
I'll never be the Doctor. Who's got, sorry, question, you had a question. I ramble. You may have noticed I ramble. So, hello. Huh? Talk to the mic so I can hear you. Because it's really hard. I'm an old man, so it's like...
So, are there any characters,
what are you finding? I can hear you.
Are there any characters that brought you out of your comfort zone and what were...
Oh, characters that have brought me out of my comfort zone. So I'm a big believer in pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and that's what attracts me to acting, because I get to, put myself in situations or roles that I would never, one of the great things about being a voice actor, and I swear to God I'll answer your question, but one of the great things about being a voice actor is that I'm not limited by how I look. If you do film or stage, to less of an extent stage, but certainly on film, you're very limited by your look. So if I were to do more film, I would probably play more of the same types of characters, especially in the States. You're very limited by your look, and I'm 6'4" and 200 pounds, and I've got the jaw and the glasses and the hair, and so I would probably always play like military or a cop or something. And which is not to say I wouldn't be happy for the work, but I wouldn't get to explore my range as much. I feel like I would always be up for the same types of roles because of how I look. As a voice actor, no one gives a damn how you look. They don't even care how you dress. I've done recordings in my PJs before, in the studio. I've taken my pants off before, and they're like, that's fine, it's whatever, just, they only care about what your voice can do. And I feel like I've got more of a range with my voice than I do with my look. And so being an actor and loving kind of getting, being pushed outside of my comfort zone, voice acting has given me the opportunity to be pushed out of my comfort zone, because I frequently get cast as something that I would never, ever have a hope of even getting to audition for this part if it was filmed. But because it happens to be anime or a game, and it doesn't matter that I'm 6'4", they can still have me play someone that's like 3 feet tall and 100 years old, and I can push myself outside of my comfort zone, or have the director push me outside of my comfort zone, which I love. I love it, because acting, for me, the privilege of it is, one, you're getting to tell a story that will go out and hopefully reach people and, help them learn something about yourselves. But the great appeal of acting for the actor is that, I get to sort of pretend to be other people, and in the process find out, oh, it's just me. Somewhere inside of me, there's that person. Wow, who knew? And so it's really cool. So thank you. I love, and it's not often that you get to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, because frequently you'll be like, oh, I know this, I know, I'm very comfortable with a lot of things. But throughout my career, I think voice acting has pushed me more often than any other kind of acting, because I'm like, oh, I can try that voice, whoever, I always get cast as things, or always, in the early days, I would get cast for things that really surprised me that I was cast. There's a show, for example, called Heroic Age, which is about 10, 12 years old now. And I got to work on it as an adaptive writer, and I thought it was really, really fun. It was very much kind of a love letter to the anime I grew up watching a million years ago. And the main character was this 17-year-old kid with a very high-pitched, very high-energy voice. That didn't sound at all like me, and so when I came to audition, I didn't try out for him, and the director, my friend Joel McDonald, was like, I want you to read for Age, this character. And I'm like, really? Okay. And so I just kind of pushed myself and produced what I thought was utter crap. I went home and like, well, that's funny, we'll just laugh and never speak of that again. And then I got the part, and I played it, and Joel was like, no, I think that's really good, I think you should push yourself. And that was a great, an opportunity that I never would have taken that chance had my director not been like, no, let's just push you out. So I love it. Does that answer your question? Awesome.